Oh, I watched the first 10 minutes of the Wicked film.
What a way to start.
That was supposed to be off pod, but you know.
It's literally like this. Many years I have... No, I'm actually done. That's probably where you got up to.
I watched the first 10 minutes of the Wicked film. How did that come to be, Tom?
So Al was like, let's have a date night. Let's watch Wicked. And I was like, well, we haven't had a date in 3 years, so I'm up for it.
Not 10 minutes.
Yeah,
What'd you do with the kids?
Well, by the time they got to bed, it was 9:45.
Oh, of course.
So we chucked it on. And we got up to Loathing. Which is why I thought of it, because sometimes we do the rolling.
Yeah.
And I fucking loved it.
Oh, this is the best news ever and the best start to an episode.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled that you loved it.
I'm really surprised.
Not to fact check, because this isn't what we should talk about, but I'm a bit gagged that it gets up to Loathing in the first 10 minutes. I thought we wouldn't even be at The Wizard and I.
No, it might be 20.
Yeah, 10 minutes feels like a hyperbolic.
You on a fast double speed.
Yeah.
There's some vision of a roomie here. It's just, shut up, Atlas. Because I got Vanessa. Shh.
But I was really like, all my favorite little bits from like even the overtures in there in full.
Yeah.
If anything, they add like extra vamps. And I'm like, so much vamps. Like,
Yeah,
what are we
so
doing?
much vamps.
When we talked about the Wicked film and they were like, they pad it out, but in a way that is kind of gorgeous.
I liked it. And I was just like, I didn't lose any of my favorite bits and it was all performed really well. And
So why'd you stop?
I think it was like 10:15 and we were just like, we're done.
And a school night and then it's time to sleep.
We had Shocked Up and popcorn. It was the whole thing. But then I was just like, I can't do it.
Netflix don't need your cash. The film doesn't need your cash. First 20 minutes, they've made the money they need to make.
Exactly.
I'm fascinated to see how part 2 plays out. I've said this to so many people. I'm like, will it make the same numbers at the box office? Probably not, because it's a part 2, but a part 2 kind of sells itself because so many people have seen part 1, so they would see part 2. Like the work is done in setting it up.
I reckon it will.
Yeah.
Obliterate at the box office again.
I hope so.
I reckon. Because I didn't think when the first part came out, I remember being like, by the time the second part comes around, probably not. It'll probably be like, but even right now, I'm like, there's been enough non-Wicked talk that even I'm like, I'm ready to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
What was your favourite bit? What did you like about it?
I mean, the vocal performances are slay, but they're not, I think like comparing it to the Rent movie.
Yeah.
The Rent movies, the vocals are so forward and it's so auto-tuned. I just wasn't really feeling that. I feel like this was the first musical theatre movie I've seen that wasn't like vocals too loud and not auto-tuned.
Yeah.
It felt quite natural and quite
Because it was done.
I agree.
It was done live on set.
There you go. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You probably said that and I forgot.
Yeah, which is so cool. I'm going to share it on screen because I'm going to go and dig and find it. I've seen the coolest, it's like an audio grab where an audio engineer sent it to Cynthia and Ariana and was like, you two are going to be gagged at this, but look at this sound wave. And it's them singing a line either in For Good or a song where they sing together and in unison, and the sound wave is exactly the same.
Wow.
They are just so in tune with each other that like even their vibrato, it is just like one, they lock into being one unit.
So cool.
So I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Who did you like more? Not that it's about pitting women against women, but Cynthia or Ariana? Did you
I
have
like
one?
Cynthia better for sure.
Yeah.
But in that first song she
man
has...
after my own heart.
Yeah. The first song I felt like she didn't really go for it.
The Wizard and I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt a little subdued.
Until the end when she's in the field.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
Choices, I reckon.
Yeah, but Ariana, like the whole opening, I thought she did such a great job, but it's just not an opera singer, right? It feels like such an operatic thing and it just... You know, it's just a really good singer singing it really well, not that whole opera
And
thing.
I think
you know?
I realised a part of why I was like annoyed by everyone's like, not annoyed because I've said before as well, because I saw it 3 times in cinema and on my 3rd time I was the most, what's the word? The most...
Moved?
Not moved, the most like easy on Ariana, right? Because the first time I saw it, I was like, wait, I don't really get what everyone's dying about.
Sure.
And I think an element of it is that I'm like, she's not a... She doesn't have that classical sound.
Yeah.
She's hitting the notes, but she's not actually, like, I think that is a fair thing to point out.
a bit of a miscast, but then her acting makes up for it.
I think her acting is really funny.
Yeah.
I'm such a defender of her till I die.
Yeah.
I think her acting sometimes is stronger than her singing.
Yeah.
And her singing is still brilliant. But
Yeah, didn't you cry when you went to see a place where she had dinner once?
Yes. So for anyone that hasn't seen on my Instagram or on my TikTok, was in London, and Ariana obviously has the song In Brighter Days Ahead, Hampstead, which is where she was living when she was filming Wicked, which is like a beautiful, beautiful, picturesque little town in London. And my girlfriend took me there. She was like, I know Sam's like a massive Arianator. I'll take her to Hampstead. We'll go to Hampstead Heath. We'll go for a swim.
Side note, never heard the word Arianator. That's
amazing. I know.
Did you come up with it?
No, it's what they're called. We're called, me and my family. But I don't identify in fandom often, but I guess I am deeply in her fandom because I will sit and listen to an 8-part vocal loop of Eternal Sunshine being like, Mel, how fucking crazy is that dissonant note on the second beat? And Mel's like, absolutely, great, like move on. So anyway, we went to Hampstead Heath, went for a swim, and then we went to like down the streets where she said she used to walk. And I genuinely walked down every street being like, maybe she's been in that shop. Maybe she's been here.
So sweet.
Do you reckon this was her local bagel shop? And then we went to the pub that Hampstead is like technically written about or referenced, called the Jolly Bush or the Holly Bush, sorry. And I walked up. It was a really quiet day. It was obviously the fandom had died down because this was like months ago when the song came out. So no one was really there apart from these two gorgeous ladies who my girlfriend started chatting to for ages. And then I'm just standing there on my own and I was just like, and then Neve comes over and she goes, oh, Bob. And I'm like, she was here. She was like literally here. And I just started bawling. And then I walked in and I'm looking around and the guy behind the till was like, oh, like what brings you here? And Neve was saying, oh, my girlfriend's a massive fan of Ariana Grande. He goes, yeah, she used to dine upstairs in the private dining room. And I'm going, viral TikTok moment alert. I'm like, never before seen footage of upstairs. Went upstairs, couldn't hold it together. Just kept crying. I went, this is crazy. I don't care that much. I love her, but I don't.
You do.
Yeah. Oh,
Your body knew before your brain did, babe.
And then blood came out the next day, and I went, right.
There it is.
But it was perfect. It was perfect.
Are you a mega fan of anything, Tom?
Oh, no, I don't think so, right? I've thought about this before. Is there anyone where they were like tickets on sale and I'd be like, must get
my
tickets?
God. Yeah.
No. That's sad,
No
isn't
one.
it? That's sad, isn't it?
Surely you've got a
What
band.
about the original Broadway cast of Jesus Christ Superstar, your favourite musical of all time?
I mean, if John Farnham was reprising the role in the Australian version, maybe.
Are you going to go see this one that's on at the moment?
I think it's just closed. And Lucy,
I think you are right,
a
actually.
friend of the pod, was like bugging me weekly.
Yeah.
to go?
I'll stoked to report that my dad finally went to Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
And I was away on like a beautiful like weekend for Sarah's birthday, and I get a call from him and he goes, my dad always does this thing. He'll message going, Melanie, can I talk to you for 2 minutes, please? That'll be the text, right?
That's giving urgent
and I'll
crisis.
go, that's urgent, that's pretty important. And I was literally like in the throes of having chips and guacamole on this birthday weekend with Love Island on the TV. And I went, sorry guys, I've actually just got to call my dad for 2 seconds. Pick up the phone. He's like, Melanie, finally went and saw that Jesus Christ Superstar that you're telling me all about. Absolutely fantastic, wasn't
Such
it?
a patron of the arts.
Number one patron.
He's number one patron. Frankie McNair, if you're listening, every year that the comedy festival rolls around, and this is not to diminish Frankie McNair, they've got a fucking brilliant audience. They like were nominated for Best Newcomer. They're a big deal. But like in the grand scheme of things, it's funny that this random boomer man, every year he goes, Mel, I'd like to know if Sarah and Sam will be joining me for our yearly viewing of Frankie McNair. And we book in at the Art Centre like little fucks.
We did, and this year, and he was sad this year because we lined up. Who cares about this story but us? But Dad was like, I've got a ticket for you, Mel. You can come with me to Frankie McNair. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to tell Sam and Sarah that they're also invited. It'd be really nice to see them. And I went, beautiful. They can come on an artist pass. And then Sam and Sarah were in the artist pass line. And then my dad absolutely chucked a hissy fit because they didn't get in on an artist pass. He was actually devastated. He's like, this was him afterwards. He's like, you know, I'm just going to say it. I'm pretty disappointed that the girls didn't get in because I was really looking forward to seeing them. He's such a funny man.
I don't think you understand. Actually, no, there's nothing more to add to that story. I tried to add another layer. Surely there's a comedian or someone or a performer or an actor if they came and did like an evening with so-and-so at Hamer Hall.
Yep.
Or a footy player?
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? There's people that I do like swear by that I have favourites of people.
Yeah.
Right? I've had opportunities to see them. I've just never bothered.
See, this is what happens when you only get 20 minutes into things. You can't become a fan of anything, Tom.
You and my dad are on opposite sides of the spectrum. You're the opposite of a patron of the arts.
Whereas Frankie McNair's 2028 Comedy Festival show, Unknown O'Brien's already logging onto the portal. Who's your celebrity that you would go crazy for?
Whoa. Really good question. I don't have one that comes absolutely immediately to mind, but I'm probably somewhere in the middle of you two. Like we were chatting about the fact that Dochi's coming to Australia to perform, and she's performing at some like random. I remember when I saw the festival lineup that she's performing on, I was like, pardon? That feels
You
like
keep talking, I'll look it
incorrect.
up.
It's not Groove in the Moo, but
No,
it's
it's
something.
the other one, the milk one or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, spilt milk
Yeah, I
or
think
something
so.
like that.
I could be right. But yeah, it's one of the alternative groovy out there ones, right?
So
Yeah.
random. And I was like, what? But she didn't have an exclusive sticker on the like lineup. So I'm like, is Dochi coming here and doing like shows? I would die to see Dochi.
Yeah.
She's probably like up there for me at the moment of like someone I would die to see.
Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
cool. for
Yeah,
sure.
I think she'd be epic.
Yeah. Fair.
Really, really epic.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sammy and I have just got back from Sydney.
We're back from Sydney.
Back from Sydney.
A beautiful week of shows.
A beautiful week of shows where we had the best time.
We had the best time.
Sydney,
It
you
was
really
gorgeous.
turned it out.
You really turned it out. It was gorgeous being part of a Pride Fest as well because we kind of knew the audiences that we would have in. We had the most gorgeous rat come along, and that's what we call our Arianators. Our version is rats. And they had the most gorgeous birthday sash that was crocheted.
Tom.
And
Oh,
it
wow.
said birth rat on it.
This is Shah. Shah, shout out to you. They listen
Love
to
you,
the pod.
Shah.
Love you. They listen to every single episode of the pod. And they messaged us going, guys, I'm coming to the show. It's going to be my birthday. Shah is also an incredible crocheter. So they crochet a bunch of stuff. They also showed me a photo of like, they crocheted like an entire like Anne Juliet costume and wore it to Anne Juliet. And I was
That's
like,
so sick.
gagged. They're so clever. They were like, guys, I'm coming on my birthday. I want to wear a birthday sash to be like, to celebrate, but I can't fit birthday rat. So should I make it birth rat or rat day? And we were like, thank you so much for asking. It's going to be birth rat.
Yeah. I said, oh my God, rat day. And then Mel literally went, no, birth rat. And I went, all right, no worries. You let him know. It was so gorgeous though. And they had the little camera and took pics of us, which was a vibe.
So sweet.
We must talk about, it's just so funny. When we went to the pool.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, we also have to talk about the Swedish man who was in love with you.
There was a Swedish man that might have been.
Sam fell in love.
No,
No, actually, Sam didn't fall. He fell.
No. What if he listens?
There's no way he listens.
No.
There's no way.
And if
he
you're
listens.
listening and you're going, is this me? No. No. No, the other day we went to the pool in Sydney with our mate Hayden, who, shout out to Hayden, love you so much. But it was the funniest thing watching a forced hang, not a forced hang from vibe, but a forced hang in location.
Sure.
Where it's like we really could have just gone for paninis and a hot chocolate probably down the road. But we were like, nah, let's get in a body of water. We're like, it'll be beautiful. Go to the sauna, go to the spa, go in the steam room. Love.
Because also, for those of you that is Sam's, like, explain
Happy place.
how it's your, like, number one.
I love a sauna. I love a steam room. I love a spa. Every single time as well, when I'm in a steam room, I leave that room feeling like I am walking out as this dripping goddess that is just radiating energy and poise, and all my pores are opened up. And I think I look so hot, and I walk out being like, I look like fucking Baywatch, man. And then I catch myself in a mirror and I actually look like a drowned rat with a nape of the neck ponytail that's sticking up. My bathers are all like twisted, and I look and my eyes have like rings of red under them, and I go, Jesus Christ, the mind's a beautiful thing. But anyway.
Can I simply read?
Please.
This is how this hang came to be. So we planned to hang, and then at 12:20 a.m. I say to Hayden, crazy thought, you, me, Sam, find a spa. All the separate messages. Find a spa to sit in tomorrow and discuss. Is this insane? Pack your dogs to work.
It's so good.
Hayden goes, oh no, I love that. I think everywhere's pretty booked, but have you found anything? And then we go, is there like a public pool that has a spa? Let me do some research. Blah, 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 blah. And then we go, the Ian Thorpe Aquatic Centre? Question mark. And then I go, sorry, this is so funny to me, but also perfect. It says it has a spa, also sauna and stuff. Sam's fave. And he goes, I'm in.
So then we went to the Ian Thorpe Aquatic Centre. I was happy as Larry because I have a bit of an obsession with pools.
Yeah.
Like I've walked past certain pools before and gone, fuck, what does that look like in there?
Touch the tiz.
And I'll Google it and see photos and be like, God, that's beautiful. I'm a happiest in water. So we walk in, we're like, hell yeah. Hayden's there with no towel, being like, does anyone have a towel? What the fuck are we doing? This is so shit. First of all, we all eat like 2 sausage rolls down a large flat white. But the second we got in the sauna, I went, Jesus Christ, I'm about to mud. We walk in, we pay. It's like $18, right?
Yes,
for like
steep.
for sauna, spa, steam, etc. We walk in, we go, where's the spa? Then we realise, it is just a pool that kids can also use, kids being very important in this sentence, with a few sprinklers, the tepid temperature of 21. It said it was 30. Lies. And we're sitting in this shallow pool of water.
We're literally sitting in a kiddie
sprinklers,
pool.
which I called Mermaid Way. I called it named Mermaid Way. And we're sitting there trying to chat whilst there's genuinely about 8 learn to swim schools going around us being like, and Jasper and over and backstroke and back. And I'm like, anyway, I think the Australian music theatre scene really needs more whilst these kids are going around me and I'm acting. And then I went, nah, this isn't good enough. I'm going to go complain. Where's the spa? There's no spa. Didn't end up complaining. But then we went in the sauna and steam. And then I went on a solo steam.
It's also like this deep. It was a children's
so shallow.
pool.
It's a beautiful pool. But then I went into the steam room and it really has happened. People now need to realise how to share spaces with other people and communal spaces because I've had it. There was a man in the steam room. It's just foul. Just continually farting. Continually. Because he was doing exercise at the same time. And then me and this girl kind of like made eyes because we're like, are you believing this? Like this can't be happening. And he just kept letting him rip. He didn't care. It's like, you spoke about like fighting with your headphones on because you can't hear yourself. He had that.
It was like,
Anyway.
He was too confident.
It was.
I can't believe you didn't giggle.
No. I was just pissed off. And I
have
did
been
the
able to
classic
not
thing
giggle.
where me famously leaving saunas at the moment, pretty pissed off. I opened the door and I just went, as I left. I'm like, that'll show him.
That'll get him.
He just kept farting. I don't know. I've got gripes with sauna and steam room etiquette and talking. It's like such a thing. Like
Well, where do you stand?
I think people should be silent.
Whoa.
I think it should be a space for meditation and mindfulness. And I think whilst there are some people that like to talk, I can't stand listening to small talk. I'll listen to conversation. This is just personally. I'll listen to conversations where people are like, anyway, and you and how's work? Yeah, it's good, blah, blah. I can't stand when it's like, do you mind if yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, God, it's a bit different temperature-wise. Did you need to sit? No, that's all. I can't
So when we were
stand.
talking in the sauna, were you like, I wish we weren't?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I'm like, I like it being a place for mindfulness because there's not many places in life where you can just like actually switch off. And that's why I love when I go in there and I see people that are doing breath work or just taking a second or closing their eyes. But saunas nowadays are just like stacked in like sardines and you are listening to about 8 different footy players have conversations about the chicks that they're messaging and you just have to kind of fuse it all out. Yeah.
We have to talk about, I've had a mind-blowing thing that I've realised, which is, I don't actually know if I've ever talked about this on pod. One thing about me, Rats, is I have the most hectic, hours and hours and hours long saga, movie lengths ×3 dreams every single night in my bed. And I wake up and I'm exhausted from the dreams that I've been having.
You're like mentally exhausted.
Yeah. And in Sydney, I woke up every morning and I was like, I haven't had a dream. That felt so weird.
So what's changed in the pre-bed routine? Anything?
Nothing. I think it's being in a different space. I think it's the point of difference.
Interesting.
I think.
That's so interesting.
Isn't that so weird?
That is
But
so
then
wild.
last night, back in Melbourne, I had a crazy saga dream that I will tell you off mic because it is not safe for work.
Damn, I was going to say, can you give us the PG version or is there no PG version?
I'll tell you this much for free. It involved me What's the word? What am I trying to courting.
Yep.
And having physical relations.
Yeah.
With a very famous person that we know, who was on The Bachelor. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying.
I filled in all the gaps. That's the editor's cut that you're not watching, cunt, because you're 20 minutes into Wicked, so you're not getting the long version. But I'll be listening later.
Yeah.
The wild dreams, are they often nightmares?
No, I wouldn't say often. I would say maybe once a week. It's a bad dream.
And why do you think that is? No, I'm kidding. I'm not your therapist. No. That's bad. My poor darling.
Absolute saga spectaculars.
Saga spectacular. Well, there's a reason as well that we were having a different pre-bed routine, which we'll talk about after the ad break. But a show has just dropped that throws the queer community into absolute chaos. We'll be chatting Queer Ultimatum, but listen to this ad first, you bitch. Mel.
Sam. Tom.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Did you just go, yeah.
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 I, Samantha Andrew, have to come on the pod and admit when I've been wrong about something. And for years,
I like that you're starting it this way.
I was wrong.
Respect.
I apologize. I was wrong. I saw one clip one time on the television once on one episode of the Ultimatum Queer Love a year or two ago, season 1. And it would just happen to be a couple on screen that I wasn't really vibing. I wasn't in the right mood. And I decided then and there, I went, this is the show that everyone's hyping up. Not for me. Watch probably, I would say, no more than like 4 or 5 minutes. And then when we were in our hotel together as bunk buddies, Mel was like, let's watch the new season of The Ultimatum Queer Love. And I went, no, I'm not really into that. And Mel's like, what? It's the most you-coded show in the entire world. Mel's like, I refuse to believe that you wouldn't like this show.
And I'm glad I pushed.
Yeah, and you pushed, and rightly so. And so then we started from season 2 because it doesn't really matter. Mel just filled me in on the premise. And now we're hooked and I've caught up and we've watched both seasons in the space of 5 days.
Of season 1.
Where we're going to bed at 6 a.m.
And actually 6 a.m.
And we're not kidding. But are you familiar with the show?
No, I never heard of it.
Oh, give Tom the
rundown.
Yeah, the rundown.
And also, because I'm aware...
Spoilers.
If spoilers, but also if you're queer, then you're definitely obsessed with this show. But not everyone who listens to this pod watches the show or knows. So I'm thrilled to tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's the most crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, something to say?
No, I was just getting excited hands.
It is the most, Tom, you're going to be like, what? It is the most crazy setup for a reality TV show ever, but so good. Here's what happens. The show begins. You're introduced to 5 couples. And in this case, so this show has existed with like straight couples previously. And then they released a specifically like, it's not just queer, it's like lesbian one.
Yeah.
So the lesbians across the world are dying. You're introduced to 5 couples. And all 5 of these couples have been together for X amount of time. And one person in each of the couples wants to and is ready to get married. And the other one is not.
Okay.
Yep.
For a multitude of reasons. And they come into the experiment having given this ultimatum, which is, this is now the end of my road. My patience is done. I want to get married. So if it's not going to happen now, I'm out.
Yep.
The experiment starts. And so you have 10 people all up. They all break up. Episode 1. They all break up for all intents and purposes. And then they all start dating each other. All 10 of the people. You see them all date each other. And by the end of like a week of dating or something like that, they have to pick another person who they're going to enter a trial marriage with. So let's say like Sam and I go into the...
God, you'd be a good teacher. You're so well paced and engaging, and you give it as beats.
Whoa.
If I did that, this is what I would say to fill Tom in. I'm terrible. This is why we need an ebb and flow on this pod. I would have gone, there's a bunch of couples, there's a trial wife, things swap over, it gets absolutely wild, and then they decide if they are going to do it or stay single. And you would have gone, what? Anyway, back to
Sorry if this is taking too much time, but I think it's important to
that wasn't a
understand the
dig.
concept.
I was listening like it was story time at Glen Ira Library. Please go on.
So let's say Sam and I enter the experiment together, right? Sam's ready for marriage. I'm not, blah, blah, blah. We all date each other. let's say we date, Tom and I date, and then at the end of the week I go, yep, Tom's going to be my trial wife, because you have like some kind of connection, right? And then Sam goes and has a trial wife with someone else. You live together with your trial wife for 2 or 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
In these apartments that they provide.
In these apartments that are like, of course, they're like maths apartments, soulless.
Yeah, soulless apartments.
A picture of
and a fake plant.
On the wall. And then, of course, what happens and ensues in those 3 weeks is a lot of the time there's so much drama because those two people then like fall in love or start having feelings for each other. And the whole like experiment is, of course, to like kind of raise the question, is it marriage you don't want or is it me? Because so often it's so interesting when this happens, like some person will come in not ready for marriage and then they'll live with someone else for 3 weeks and they go, hold on, I could see myself marrying that person though.
Yeah.
Or like there's so many different things that happen, like if it so happens that Sam, who is ready for marriage, meets someone else who also gave the ultimatum and is ready for marriage, they might live together for 3 weeks and go, well, hell yeah, if we both want the same things and we have this connection, maybe this is it. Anyway, after the end of that 3 weeks, then it swaps and you go into living with your own partner again for 3 weeks. And then at the end of those 6 weeks, and this is the real zinger, there are 3 options and 3 options only. And this is what's insane. You have to leave the experiment proposing to your partner. You have to leave engaged with the partner you originally came with. You have to leave engaged to the new person.
Yep.
So not just together, engaged, or you leave alone.
Sure.
And lesbians were prepped and planned and built in a lab for a show like this.
I was
like we came out in rows, one by one, marching, going, let's fucking do this. I just have to take my hat off to production because it is the most, unless they're making movie magic, which they probably are, it is the most gloriously unscripted, real emotions, like stuff that's happening on screen. There's just there's none of that scripting bullshit of being like, just Cassandra coming here, I had to make the decision if it was your blah. They literally just get cameras up. They're in like the middle of the bush and they just start filming them and one of them will be like, do I start talking or do you start talking? And it's
so real.
Anyway, instead of filling you in on everything, I want to unpack the people
same.
on there. So, fave so far.
Fave so far in season 2.
Because, spoiler alert, jump ahead. Sorry, we are going to talk. They haven't dropped the second batch of episodes.
Well, 'cause what I was thinking is we could go through each couple and be like, hot takes, how we feel.
Perfect. I love that.
Things that jump to mind. I wrote them all down, if that's helpful.
Great.
Kyle and now we're doing the couples that are the trial couples, so not the.
Yeah. So spoilers, jump ahead. Yeah.
So Kyle and Pilar.
Kyle and Pilar started off.
Sorry, I mean Ella Laurie and Pilar.
Yeah, sorry, Ella Laurie. They started off, and I went, oh, probably not. And then I started to watch them hang out, especially the first night when they were in bed together. And it was a lot of like, and how do you sleep? And do you sleep on your side? And look at all of this room in our bed. I was like, wait a minute, there's something brewing here.
We have to talk Kissgate.
Kissgate.
I was like, initially.
Yeah. Oh God, we need another whole episode to talk about Kissgate.
Yeah.
That's like such a complex thing, but go.
Yeah, initially I was like, Pilar, if you've crossed a boundary, that's bad. There's no excuse for that. I love that Tom's just gone on his phone while we talk about this. It's perfect.
I'm putting faces to the name. I am on the IMDb.
I would respect it if you were like, I'm playing Farmville. While I let my girls yap.
I want to put a face to Pilar, that's all.
No, Pilar, I was like, if you've crossed a boundary, bad. But then we kind of realised, I was like, I think Ella Laurie / Kyle. What Kyle has done here is I think Kyle hasn't wanted to admit that they've been giving vibes.
Yep, and have been flirting because it's been obvious.
Yeah, and being flirting so that when they get back with Bridget, they can just go, Pilar kissed me instead of I did this.
Yeah, I have to say Bridget is seeming quite rattled by everything. I can see that there's a real vulnerable kind of like shaky part of her that's starting to unleash.
And Bridget also has the best curls this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah, Bridget is Neve's favourite. Neve is deathly obsessed with Bridget.
Bridget and Kyle, also the queer couple, I would say. The rest of them are gay couples.
Yep.
These guys are a Bushwick.
And they're much better communicators, I would say, than some of the others.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
Yeah, but I find them both hot. And they both feel very Melbourne.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that's when I was like Bushwick, kind of like queer. And then because Pilar and her original partner, get this, Tom, have been together for 10 years.
Yeah, wow.
10 years.
In the first season, was there a lot of people who broke up? Is that like the main?
Yeah.
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 It seems like a show. It's like ultimately everyone's going to break.
It's really
break up.
juicy. You should watch it.
It is a juicy watch.
Yeah.
What would you get in the first 10 minutes of Queer Ultimatum?
Not
that Tom's going to do.
Just a bunch of sunset backgrounds and a few of them. Like it's really funny. They'll be like, there'll be a couple that's like, and we love to fuck and we love to have sex. And then they really do just have the cameraman being like, all right, now you lie down on the bed, ass up, and we'll just get a shot of your partner just kind of going to enter you from behind. But it's like to the music of like, I'm a bad girl.
The Netflix music.
The Netflix music.
Are so perfect.
Next, Mel and Marie.
Yeah, more Mel and Dana.
No, Mel and Dana.
Yeah.
Tumultuous, you holy, toxic, tattoos, matching tattoos, insane.
Matching tattoos when Dana said to her original partner, if we make it out of this, babe, we're gonna get matching tattoos. And then
So
she went and got a
garbage.
matching tattoo.
Also, the Spotify shared playlist gate was so funny when she was like, you went and literally put songs from our playlists onto a future playlist with her. I'm like, that's the most lesbian thing ever. Also, I take my hat off to production being like, Jacinta, what was the QR code for her Spotify login? Because we'll just leave it on this TV. Like, it's so good.
Mel is making a bad name for the lesbian Mels out there.
I've got a funny take on Mel.
Deepest side part.
Deepest side part, but I love when she cracks a smile. Yeah. She's so funny. She's like a little cat. She'll like say something and then her lips will go together. And then she'll just crack a little smile. And it then just breaks out on her face.
Cheshire lesbian.
Cheshire lesbian.
She's toxic as fuck. They're both lying to their partners.
I hate that I love toxic lesbians. Yeah. It's kind of hot.
They're both lying to their partners. Yeah, get it up. Get that deep side part up.
Yeah.
They're both, so they've clearly fucked and have fallen in love.
Right.
And so now they're to the point where they're back with their original partners.
Yep.
And they're saying to, both of them are saying to their original partners going, we haven't fucked.
And really bad. Mel is fully lying.
Fully gaslighting.
And I'm super in. I know we're talking about Mel and Thingamajig, but Marie and AJ. I'm obsessed with whatever acting jobs Marie wants after this because that girl can monologue and it sits in this world of absolute not truth and more performance than anything. Oh. I believe she's going through the emotions she's going through, but she really does have this performative air of like, if I found out that you are fucking lying to me, I'll fucking kill you. And I'm like, is that real, Marie, or are you acting? She's giving a little bit Vanessa.
Yeah.
From season 1.
I do feel so fucking sorry for her, though.
Absolutely same.
Oh, my God.
And she's got a food truck business, Tom. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Her and Mel have a food truck business.
It is absolutely devastating that the masc-les representation on this season is quite toxic.
It is quite toxic.
Because I go the toxic masculinity coming from AJ as well towards Brittany.
Oh, AJ's so hot, though.
AJ's very hot, very toxic, unfortunately.
Very charming.
AJ's original partner is Brittany, Tom. And Brittany
is a celebrity. Looks like a celebrity.
Literally, she's one of those people you look at her and you go, I just know you smell good. And
she's exquisite.
She's just exquisite to look at. She's perfect.
And she's been such a G because she's been paired with Marita.
Yeah.
And then because some of the couples are not romantically going to be a vibe. They're more just like, oh, we're going to be gal friends and like teach each other stuff. But it's so gorgeous watching her just like take it all on the chin and be like, you know what? I'm going to lean in and bring out my daddy energy for Marita.
And she's like, I'll cook for you. I'll get you flowers. I'll do all of these things because get
Marita some tulips in
you know what's so funny?
Fucking brown paper.
I've tiny bit looked online at other people's takes.
Yeah.
And I've not seen anyone with our take about Marita and Ashley, which is shocking to me. Like, people kind of like don't like Marita heaps.
I think Marita needs a little bit more loving. And I think she's a sweet girl that could have had the villain edit.
Yeah.
But I think she ended up in the right place.
I agree.
She's desperate to be loved. I think she's trying.
People are saying online, like for Ashley's case, they're like not showing up romantically. She literally wants to get married to you. And I'm like, no.
She's not listening to how to show up.
She's not listening to how to show up, Tom.
And it's not
Marita just wants some flowers and to be cooked for once in a while.
Yeah. And you can see these moments of connection. She'll literally be like, you passed me that fork. Like, thank you. And she's like, look at us sitting down with this candle. It's like, bitch, that's a $4 salted caramel candle from like an op shop. But to her, it's like this romantic Lady in the Tramp moment. Yep. I have all the time in the world for Marita.
Same.
I think that Megan is so fucking fine.
Yeah,
is so fine. And she's with
that
That top knot.
Haley.
It's Haley.
Haley and Megan, wowie. If not meant to be together, certainly platonic soulmates.
I think. Yeah.
I love Haley. I think Haley's a bit of an unproblematic queen.
Yeah.
She's perfect. She's so beautiful.
Yep.
She's come into this with so much love to give, and also respect to her, even though they had the bizarre choice to have that chat on a balcony. Haley telling Pilar, being like, I've fallen in love with someone else. Yep. She did it. She said it straight away. She was honest.
Yep.
She was honest about everything.
Yeah. And I respect Pilar as well for having be able to regulate herself to be like, and for how long? And when did this happen? And how many times? Like, I feel really bad for Pilar.
Yeah.
I think, imagine a 10-year relationship.
Yeah. It's rough though, because the reason that Pilar's not into marriage is because she's been keeping the fact that she's queer a secret
so
for 10
hard
years.
when the family dynamic comes into play.
Also, no one wants to be kept a secret. That's fair. After 10 years, I'd be like, and at what point are we going to be honest about our relationship?
Yeah. No, I think Megan is so fine.
Megan is gorgeous.
It's just such a good show. And I feel it just feels so like, first of all, Bechdel test, tick, tick, tick. But second of all, I just watching representation just like invigorates my soul. It makes me think of the amount of like hetero dating shows that I've watched and gone, I'm in it for the drama, but I don't really feel it. Whereas I watch this and I feel it in my bones.
True.
Yeah. It's perfect.
And it's also you're just like watching like real emotions and real like real couples going through like hectic stuff.
Yeah, because it's not like a $50,000 cash prize and maybe they'll get with this person they met 4 weeks ago on a beach. It's like, no, they're about to potentially throw away a 10-year relationship with so much stakes.
Yeah.
The stakes are high. And God, are they beautiful.
My only other hot take is I hated how AJ was like, when they showed us that chat about AJ and Brittany and AJ being like, yeah, I just feel like since your business has really like skyrocketed, like you're doing less around the house. And I'm like, toxic masculinity
of mask lesbians wanting their girlfriends to cook for them. That's being no better than a toxic man.
And you'll still do the cooking and the cleaning, and it's like, what? Because I'm the femme?
Yeah,
like that's
literally.
so like gender rolly and like backwards and incorrect.
Bring back Tiff, who loved from season 1, who loved to chop things and cook and clean.
We had so much right, and then we watched the entirety of season 1. That's a whole other thing.
There's so much more to take. Well, if we have more hot takes, we can bring them up next week for next week's Ratfood.
Absolutely, because the new episodes will be released next week.
Epic.
On Wednesday. Tomorrow.
What?
Tomorrow.
No. Give me that.
Pass me that.
Pass me that.
Pass me that.
That's another Ratfood done and dusted.
Perfect.
Are you going to finish Wicked?
Yes, I would like to.
Good.
Perfect. I would love to. We should watch Wicked, all 3 of us, and make it a special YouTube episode showing Tom Wicked.
I love that.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, Rats, that's kind of it. That's the end of the episode.
Genuinely, thank you so much. We met so many pod fans in Sydney who came to the show. Thank you so much to everyone who came along and said hey and loved the show.
Yeah. And if you're from Edinburgh, we'll be coming to Edinburgh literally in August with the Platonic Human Centipede. So if you've got, or if you know anyone that will be around for the Edinburgh Fringe, send them our way. We'll be doing our show. But apart from that, we're going to roll on out of here and catch up on some sleep, I reckon.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Rats.
Bye.
This is a Grouse House podcast.
Mel and Sam would like to acknowledge that this podcast was created and recorded on stolen land.
The original custodians of this land have had a rich history of storytelling for over 65,000 years, and we pay our respects to the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, whose land we are making Ratbag on.
Treaties were never signed, sovereignty was never ceded, always was and always will be Aboriginal land.